The threshold of the Zagros. The world outside your window is governed by the ticking of clocks, the hum of electricity, and the relentless pace of the modern age. But tonight, we are stepping across a different kind of threshold. We are traveling to a place where time does not move in a straight line, but in circles, like the hawks that catch the thermals over the peaks of western Iran. Imagine yourself standing at the base of the Zagros Mountains. This is not a gentle range. These are the giant fangs of the earth, a limestone fortress that stretches for 1,600 kilometers, separating the high Persian plateau from the sun-scorched plains of Mesopotamia. As you stand here, the air is thin and sharp. It carries the scent of wild terebinth, crushed herbs, and the ghost of ancient snow that never quite melts in the highest crevices. In the distance, the sun is beginning to dip behind the serrated ridges, painting the rock in hues of violet and deep ochre. This is the land of the Lurs and the Bakhtiari, nomadic peoples who have moved their flocks through these passes for millennia, following the same seasonal pulse that their ancestors did when the world was young. You can almost hear the distant clatter of hooves and the low whistle of a shepherd echoing against the stone, a sound that has remained unchanged since the dawn of the Holocene. The linguistic key, Peridasa. To understand why we are here, looking for a garden in a land that often seems so arid, we have to look at the words we use. We often think of paradise as a vague, ethereal concept, a cloud-filled heaven. But the word itself is grounded in the soil of Iran. In the old Persians, the people of Cyrus and Darius, the word was paridadaesa. Peri, meaning around. Desa, meaning wall or enclosure. A paradisa was not a wild forest. It was a masterpiece of human intent. It was a walled garden where the chaos of the desert was kept at bay by stone and irrigation. Inside those walls, the air was 10 degrees cooler. Water flowed in precise channels, and fruit trees, pomegranates, figs, and apricots offered shade and sustenance. To the ancient Persians, the garden was a physical manifestation of Asha, divine order, triumphing over Druj, chaos. When the Greeks encountered these royal gardens, they were so overwhelmed by their beauty that they lacked a word for them. They simply took the Persian word and made it paradisos. Later, when the Hebrew scholars translated their scriptures into Greek, they looked at the description of the Garden of Eden and realized there was only one word that fit the majesty of the original home of man: paradisos. So when we speak of paradise, we are, whether we know it or not, speaking of an Iranian garden. The mystery of the 4 rivers. In the book of Genesis, the description of Eden is frustratingly specific. It tells us that a single river flowed out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it divided into 4 heads or branches. The rivers mentioned are the Pishon, the Gihon, the Hiddekel, Tigris, and the Ferrat, Euphrates. For centuries, theologians and explorers have been baffled. While the Tigris and Euphrates are real, tangible rivers that define the cradle of civilization, the Pishon and Gihon seem to vanish into the realm of myth. But what if we haven't been looking closely enough at the geography of the Zagros Mountains? If you trace the Tigris and Euphrates back to their sources, you find yourself in the mountains of Turkey and the northern reaches of the Zagros. In the late 20th century, archaeologists like David Roll began to look at the rivers of western Iran with a fresh eye. The Karun River, Iran's most effluent river, rises in the Zagros and flows toward the head of the Persian Gulf. In ancient times, its name was often associated with regions that the Bible refers to as Kush, not the Kush of Africa, but a more ancient Kush located in the mountains of the Kassites. Then there's the mystery of the Pishon. Modern satellite photography, technology that can see through the shifting sands of the Arabian Peninsula, has revealed the Wadi Batin. This is an extinct river system, now a dry valley, that once flowed across the Arabian desert and emptied into the same delta where the Tigris, Euphrates, and Karun meet. The confluence of the Gulf. Imagine the map 10,000 to 12,000 years ago. The world was waking up from the last great ice age. Sea levels were nearly 120 meters lower than they are today. The Persian Gulf did not exist as a body of salt water. Instead, it was a massive, luscious valley, a low-lying basin protected by mountains and fed by the combined flow of these four great rivers. It was a lush, temperate oasis surrounded by a world that was rapidly becoming arid and harsh. To the people living in the high, cold mountains or the dry deserts, this valley was a miracle. It was the land of the living. It was Dilmun. Before the Bible was written, the Sumerians spoke of Dilmun as a land where the lion killeth not, and the wolf snatcheth not the lamb. It was a place where there was no old age, no sickness, and no death. The Sumerians believed their great hero, Utnapishtim, the Sumerian Noah, was granted immortality and sent to live at the mouth of the rivers in Dilmun. If you look at the geography of the Persian Gulf Valley 10,000 years ago, the mouth of the rivers is exactly where these four great waterways converged. The clay and the breath. In the ruins of ancient Eridu, the oldest city in the world, archaeologists found tablets that speak of the god Enki, the lord of the waters, who resided in a subterranean freshwater ocean called the Abzu. The texts describe a process that sounds remarkably like genetic engineering. They mixed the clay of the earth with the blood and spirit of a sacrificed god to create the Adapa, or the atom. Was the Garden of Eden actually a contained environment? Was it a high-altitude sanctuary or a sheltered valley where the first domesticated humans were bred? In the original Hebrew, the words used for Adam's role are abad, to serve, and shamar, to guard. The first man was not a vacationer. He was a priest worker in a high-security enclosure. The architecture of memory. If the garden was real, why does the memory of it persist so strongly in our DNA? Every culture has a version of the Golden Age, a time when we were in direct communication with the divine. The Persians obsessed over the recreation of this state through the Chahar Bagh design. The design, a rectangular space divided into 4 quadrants by 4 water channels, was a cosmological map. The channels represented the 4 rivers of Eden. By building these gardens, Persian kings were claiming to be the restorers of the lost paradise. When Cyrus the Great built his garden at Pasargadae, he was telling the world that he had brought the peace of the gods back to earth. As you lie there now, imagine walking through one of these ancient gardens at night. The stone paths are cool. The sound of the water is a constant rhythmic pulse, a liquid heartbeat. Here, the chaos of the world is locked outside the stone walls. Inside, there is only symmetry. This is what the fall from Eden really feels like, the loss of that symmetry. The Great Flood and the sinking of Eden. What happened to the physical garden? The answer lies in the melting of the ice caps. Around 14,000 years ago, the world warmed rapidly. For a long time, the Persian Gulf Valley remained dry because a natural dam at the Strait of Hormuz kept the ocean at bay. But eventually, the water level reached the top. Imagine a wall of salt water rushing into a fertile, low-lying paradise. In the matter of weeks, the valley of the 4 rivers was swallowed by the sea. The survivors would have fled to the only high ground available, the Zagros Mountains. They carried with them nothing but the stories of the world they had lost, the rivers, the trees, and the shining beings who had once walked among them. The night is deep now. In the high valleys of Loristan, the wind whistles through the limestone cracks. If you listen closely, you can almost hear the voices of the ancient ones telling the story of the garden to their children by the fire. The walled enclosure is around you now, in the safety of your room, in the rhythm of your breath. Everything is fine. You are safe. History rests, and you can too.